when I came to Nashville for the first time, my first publisher had said, would you like for me to pay for your birth control? Because if you don't do birth control and you get pregnant, your career is over. And that was how my career started here in Nashville. And so I fully understand that all these young women are like,
What's up, guys? We're dreamers, we're moms, and welcome to the Mommy Artist Podcast. Now let's get creatively unhinged. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Mommy Artist Podcast. We are here at the Nashville Dollywood Oasis on Music Row with another phenomenal guest. My guest today is Femke Weidema, a musician, producer, songwriter, composer for film and TV, and a mom balancing studio life and real life. Originally from the Netherlands, she studied at Berklee College of Music before working in Los Angeles at Hans Zimmer's Remote Control Studios. Now based in Nashville, Femke is an award-winning producer and songwriter working with artists around the world. She's the recipient of the ASCAP Harold Adamson Award, has cussed with artists like Forrest Black and Cindy Lang, and her productions are gaining international attention. She's also the founder of LV Music, a platform connecting artists globally, and the subject of the documentary series Don't Dream, Do. Today, we're talking about music, creativity, and what it really looks like to build a global career while also being a mom. Let's get into it. Welcome to the show.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, when you came here, I already said I feel like I'm not worthy. Thank you so much for
Aw,
coming.
thanks. Oh,
Femke,
yes.
you're originally from the Netherlands.
Yes.
Tell me about growing up there. Were you like an artistic child, artistic family?
Well, I was the only one making music in my family.
Cool.
And I'm from a very small town called Drachten, which is I say it's like the Kentucky of the Netherlands. It's like very small, rural, and we only had one music school, and they only had like a couple of instruments. So of course I picked the accordion because it's
Of course.
very of course. And I just loved it. I was super like I wrote songs on it. Like I made little compositions. We had like an orchestra, and I wrote little things for the orchestra. And like weird thing, they had these scouts from the conservatory, and they would come to these like rural music schools. And there was this one scout that came. And I was about like 10, and he was like, "Wow, she's very talented. We should put her in the like speed up program." So as I was going later on to high school, I was already in the conservatory too, just taking like the basic classes, going once a week with the bus and my accordion,
Nice.
studying. And it was all classical music. So it's like Mozart and Bach on the accordion. So it's like basically all the organ pieces, but then on the accordion. I had a very strict Russian teacher. And then one day I got into a studio and I was like, I want to do this. But I didn't know it existed because I was so from like such a small town. There was no world. I mean, I had a great childhood just running around and climbing trees and not wearing shoes and just being like wild.
A kid, yes,
Yeah,
which is also
which
good
is
'cause
amazing.
you got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You didn't like grow up in LA where
No,
everything was.
no, I didn't know there was an industry. I didn't know there was like a career or a future. I just kind of lived, and it was awesome.
What were the other instruments available besides the accordion?
Saxophone, guitar, and piano. Obviously guitar and piano were like the most popular,
Right.
but I was also really bullied. So I was like, if I pick the accordion, no one else is going to do this.
I love that.
So I did.
I love that. What interested you in music? Like, what was that like? Do you remember?
I just couldn't not do it. I just had to, when I would come home from school, I would play music. I would write things. I would like come up with pieces. It was all I did besides school. So even though I didn't know there was a career in it, I just knew this was like my life.
It was like innate in you. It was a natural.
It just existed. Yeah.
Can you like learn by ear?
Yeah.
Or play by ear and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like you were meant to do this. You were put on this earth
to do this. I really do feel so. Yeah.
That's awesome. How did you get to Berklee? Like, that's amazing. First of all, what a great start. What a humble beginning. What a
what a crazy. Well, I did my education at the conservatory, and then I really wanted to become a songwriter.
Mhm.
And I was a huge fan of Paul Simon and
Mhm.
Tracy Chapman, and I was like, what if I go to America and like learn how to be a songwriter? So I Googled and I found like Berklee College of Music. I applied and applied for a bunch of scholarships. I worked for 2 years. I had like every job imaginable just to save up money.
That's
I worked in
awesome.
a supermarket, in a music store. I was teaching lessons and just got all these scholarships together. And so I could go to Berklee for a year. Um, Fully intending to go back home
Mhm.
like after a year, and I did go back home. And then Berkeley itself was like, hey, we have this scholarship opportunity for you to go to LA and do an internship. And so I was like, well, I have to do this,
Yes.
so I did. And then and this is kind of my journey, just things kept popping up every time I was thinking like, okay, I'm going to go home now. I was like, well, we have a job for you and
Mhm.
you could do this. And why don't you work for us? And it was just like this magical road that just kind of kept like going. And, it wasn't always like I thought I would be a songwriter, then I thought I'd be an artist, and I
Mhm.
became a film composer. Then it was like this weird
Mhm.
weaving web, and I'm still in it.
I know, but yet it's all connected.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
is.
all. Did you realize the celebrity kind of status of Berkeley when you were applying? Did you realize what it
No,
was?
no.
Which is cool.
It was so cool, but the full circle moment was when I was there. I think it was like the 50th or 60th anniversary of Berkeley,
Mhm.
and Paul Simon performed. And I was like, this is why I'm here. Like I cried tears because it felt like this like homecoming.
Mhm.
I was like, this is why I do this. Like it was so
Like
amazing.
stars aligning,
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
what was your family back home? Did they realize the gravity of, like, what you were getting into?
No, I mean, it was hard because I'm very close to my parents.
Mhm.
And so like, the drop off, like, my dad flew with me to Boston because 'cause I'd never been on a plane, like, I'd never been to a big city, I've never been to Amsterdam until I picked up my visa,
Wow.
So my my dad came with me, and we flew to Boston to help me find a room and everything,
Mhm.
and my mom was, so, so sad,
Mhm.
and it was so hard for me to leave, like, it was and I wrote this song called Mama, Please Don't Cry, it was, like,
Mhm.
so horrific to leave and
Mm.
to chase this dream, but feel like I'm, like, sacrificing
Mhm.
something,
Mhm.
and it still feels that way, like, I
Mhm.
still have, like, heartache over it,
Mhm.
Um, but I just had to,
Yes.
you know?
You had to. And
Yeah.
then that's the cool thing I think about songwriting too, is because as a form of therapy,
Mhm.
you could be your darkest days or I mean, I'm not a songwriter. I'm just speaking.
Yeah.
I do write. I write
Yeah.
poetry and I write and like some of my poems like will come, sometimes out of pain, sometimes out of joy, but it's
Mhm.
usually out of an experience.
Yeah.
And it's cool to like weave that into your story and
Mhm.
then I don't know, I feel like it's therapeutic in a way.
Yeah, it is a gift. I mean,
Mhm.
what do you if you have that gift, then you should share it, right?
Exactly.
Like that's how it works. Yeah.
So, we're gonna go back. So, you were only supposed to spend a year in Berkeley, and
Yes.
then you got an opportunity for is that the Hans Zimmer internship
No,
or
the
no?
internship was they send a bunch of students out to all the companies, all the publishers. So every week you would meet a publisher, a record label, like you could see all the aspects of the industry.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, I think I was interning for Warner and Universal at the same time, in the sync department and in the label department.
Mhm.
Um, and so you're working in it, but you're also every week meeting people. It was a whole semester of just getting introduced to the music industry.
Which
Yeah, and through that, you get to have a year of work.
Mhm.
So I worked for this little record label called Little Dog Records, and it was like sort of a country label, which was really fascinating. And then from then on, I got like other positions, and then also I decided to do my master's in music
Cool.
at Cal State LA. So as I was doing my master's, I started interning for a film composer, and that's how things just started going into that world.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah.
You're so established and I think the coolest part about it all is the humbleness you bring to the entire situation and just the not knowing what what was happening
Hmm.
at the time and how big of a deal it was and how many people like the fact that you even got into the 1-year Berkeley program, I'm sure, like so many people
Yeah.
try to get into that, and you're like, "Oh, I got into this thing, and then I
Yeah.
went," and then it's just such a sweet story, and I'm
Thanks.
sure that's what makes you like just like a cool person in general. I can already tell, like, if I lived in Nashville, we'd be
We'd be
friends.
friends.
I want to get into when you started working at the remote control
Mhm.
studios. Tell
Yeah.
me how that happened.
So I was interning for another film composer when I was doing my master's in music,
Hmm.
and then he hired me to work on a couple TV shows he was doing, which was 10 Things I Hate About You and the Tracy Ullman Show.
Cool.
And then those seasons ended, and I was kind of like, well, what do I do next? He's like, let me call my friends at Remote Control. So he called some composers there, and one of them needed an assistant. And I went and auditioned and got the job, and that's how I kind of ended up there.
Wow.
And it
What
was fascinating.
what did the audition look like?
It was really strict. Like I had to do solfege, like ear training,
Okay.
music theory. I had to show like how I would put something together on the computer in the system. I
Mhm.
had to like walk through the gear, and like they had this like huge back room with the computers and kind of name everything. Like this is this and this is this. It was like kind of a school
Like a school
test or
final.
something. Yeah,
Mhm.
I was not expecting that.
Mhm.
And it was two guys like on the piano, and this guy was like, okay, what is this? Boing, boing. And you're like, oh.
I
It was
know.
really intense. But yeah, so I got the job, and yeah, I was there for I think 2 years for that composer, and then he eventually moved out of remote control and moved into a really big studio in Malibu Hills.
Mhm.
And it was in this studio where the hill would go like up like
Oh,
this,
yes.
and I was driving a stick shift,
Well,
and it was every day to commute was like an hour and a half, and I would go up that hill, and every day I was like, I'm gonna die, like I'm gonna roll
why
back,
what
like.
friend did not tell you you don't get a stick shift?
Well, I got there with like no money, so it
Right.
was cheap,
It's like
and
whatever.
there was no air conditioning in the car, and I had these just show up, like I was like, I this is there anything else I can do? That's not this.
Yes.
Um, and then somebody offered me a publishing deal in Nashville, and I was like, that's it, I'm out.
That's it, you're moving to Nashville. What
Yeah.
year was that?
Gosh, like 2012 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you feel like you're gonna stay in Nashville?
Oh, yeah.
This is your place.
This is it.
I love
Yeah.
that. You went from, like, dream to dream to dream,
Mhm.
like, and and you're just handling it with grace,
Yeah.
all the while, like, when you think of someone who has these jobs and opportunities, I would not think of, like, you forget that you're still not making money really at that
Mhm.
time. You're not making a lot
No.
of money. You're
No.
still like a struggling artist.
Mhm.
And that's so fascinating to me because even me, I would think like if you're at that level doing those things, you're like established in
Mhm.
that way and you just kept on grinding and
Mhm.
kept on doing the thing. And then did Nashville feel like a okay, finally was it like the most stable
Yeah. I felt
situation?
like I could breathe
Yeah.
because there was also the work ethic in LA was so unlivable,
Mhm.
at some point, like, I would sleep at the studio, I would, like, just go home to do laundry in the weekends when I was in the middle of a show. Um, it was unsustainable
Mhm.
for me, and I suffered from migraines really bad.
Mm.
And during that time, I mean, I would have so many migraines, and
Mhm.
it was like, this is not my body is like shutting down,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And so when I came to Nashville, and I got signed by this publisher, I still had this expectation that I had to like work 100 hours a week. And
Mhm.
it was awesome. He gave me the basement of the whole building, and he was like, just build a studio here and do whatever you
Oh
want.
my
So
gosh,
I
nice.
was like, okay, I'm going to sit here 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I realized, like, why am I doing this? Like, all these people are going out. Like, part of Nashville is like to go to the bar and to
Mhm.
like network. And I'm
Mhm.
sitting here till 4 in the morning
Mhm.
making these tracks. Like,
Mhm.
what am I doing? And slowly I had to unwind
And
and
reprogram.
reprogram and unlearn. And that's still hard. I sometimes feel like I'm like fighting my work ethic.
Mhm.
Like, it's not a friend,
Mhm. I get
you
it.
know?
I get it. Yeah, I think that LA life is for for some,
Hmm.
but definitely not for everyone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially you being from a small town and
Hmm.
I'm the shock. I can't I
Yeah.
can't imagine, like, what you think, like, how that, like, translated to that. But Nashville does seem like more hometown. I mean,
Yeah.
not, like, really I mean, downtown Nashville's really flashy and Music
Yeah.
Row and everything, but, like, I know there's other parts of Nashville that are, like, homey, and, the Southern hospitality thing I
Mhm.
feel like is real,
Yeah.
and because 'cause I'm from Texas, and we have that same kind of, like, you know, "Come if you need a meal, come on in,"
Yeah.
or, like, whatever,
Yeah.
and so I can see how that could, really feel like home.
It really does. Yeah. And the people, just like you said, like you meet people, they connect you with those people. Like I've always been a connector.
Mhm.
And I feel like that is ingrained in the industry here. The right people are the people who will send an email and introduce you to somebody without feeling they need to get anything in return.
Right.
And that's my favorite way of doing business is, because we're not just here to like make money and be famous and like, all that stuff. Like at some point you just want to like be known as somebody who's like a good person.
Yes. It's Nashville, but it's also the artist community. It's, like,
Yes.
ingrained in us to
Yeah.
be empathetic and to want to help each other,
Yeah.
and because we know the struggle and we
Mhm.
know the passion, and we know we wanna continue to do it, and so
Mhm.
we're like, "Let's all just help each other
Yes.
out."
Absolutely.
This is about film scoring.
Okay.
For someone who doesn't know anything about film scoring,
Yes.
tell us what it is. I mean, I know what it is, just
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but tell the people what it is, the moms out there who are not, who are the non-artist listeners.
Yes.
Um, what is it? And then what does the process actually look like?
Yeah. So what it essentially is you enhance the scene with music. So you underscore it. So a score can either anticipate what's going to happen, if nothing's happened and then suddenly it's and like, oh, something's coming,
Mhm,
or it can wait till like there's a lot of ways to the music can make the movie or the image much better or much worse
mhm,
just by what it does.
mhm,
So that's the essence of scoring, like if you have like a beautiful orchestral score and there's like a lot of beautiful emotional moments, but sometimes it could also just be a piano
mhm.
that sort of plays through it. So whatever the movie wants and the director wants, that's what I do. And sorry, what was the second half of the?
How does it? Because I feel like I watched one movie one time, and the scene was playing, and the person was just playing piano
Hmm.
on top of the scene.
Yeah.
That is that
So
fake?
well, no, sometimes
Fake
I
news.
mean, sometimes it is fake. Like sometimes the actors learn how to play it,
Mhm,
and sometimes they actually play it. So
mhm,
that's a different kind of music. That's not necessarily part of the film composer's job. We're more where there's no music. So there's something like source music, which is like if you're in a bar and like there's music playing, all that
mhm,
stuff. That's like a license
mhm.
or a song that happens that they license. But the score is really just the
But
feeling.
when you're making it, I'm saying, are
Hmm.
you watching the movie
Yes.
as it's happening?
Yeah, so I
I mean, are
have
you playing live or is it,
yeah.
like, digital?
No, on my computer, I have, like, 2 screens. I have 1 screen with the movie and
Mhm,
then 1 screen with my software,
mhm,
and then I pick it's called a queue, like, you have your little section that you're scoring, and you find all the hit points or
mhm,
whatever it is, like,
mhm,
and then you score into that. So I play on the piano, and I'm like, "Okay, there needs, like, an orchestra here, or it needs, like, a flute, or it needs" I start filling in
mhm,
the blanks,
mhm,
um, and it's super fun. Like, it's very challenging, and you never know what the director wants, and
mhm.
then you send it back and forth, and as you're sending it back and forth, they're still changing the movie.
Right, of
So then they're like,
course.
"Oh, we're gonna send you a second cut," and then everything's different, and you're like, "Oh."
Mhm,
So there's a lot of that, but it's cool, it's challenging, it's fast.
mhm.
Yeah.
I like that. And the music can make the movie so much.
Yeah.
I feel like the mood and then even if it's, like, perhaps opposite, perhaps, like, a funny scene, and then the music is, like, dramatic music, and then you can tell, like, something's up, like,
Mhm.
it tells a story about
Yeah.
the story,
It
and
does, yeah. And one perfect movie, if anybody's interested in it, to me, is this movie called We Bought a Zoo.
okay.
I think it's with Matt Damon or
I
something, but
remember that movie.
it was kind of like just a cute family
Mhm,
movie.
mhm,
But the score was made by this guy Jansi, who's this like Icelandic vocalist who's really has this beautiful thing. And so the whole movie has these like vocal arrangements and this very dreamy. I mean, that soundtrack is phenomenal, and it made the movie
mhm.
like magical.
Mhm.
Like it added a layer that wouldn't have been there
Mhm.
without that score. And so like it's been so long ago that movie came out, but every time like I rewatch that movie just to remember how impressed I was
Mhm.
with the feeling of the score, you
That's
know?
so cool. I love how that can happen
Yeah.
and how the 2 worlds collide and just make something better. Gosh, you're super talented for being able to do that, and I'm sure the software, like, is so complicated.
No,
I mean
you have to be techie to do
right.
this as
Mhm.
a producer. So that's, it takes time to like learn all that stuff. But
And a lot of times the artist is not the most techy, but you got I feel like
hmm
you have everything. Like, you're so multifaceted that you can do that, and then you can do this, and then you can I'd love to be the fly on the wall to just
yeah.
watch you work and just, like, how I don't know, the method to the madness and, like,
hmm
how you go from your right brain to your left brain when you're,
Yeah.
like, actually technically working with the, equipment, and then also your creative brain is like, "Oh, this needs this, and
Yeah.
this needs" that's really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, here's a good question.
hmm
How do you score a film to fit the story while still trying to I don't know, keep your creative freedom?
hmm it's a tricky one because sometimes there's less creative freedom because if a director is very much like we want really specifically it's almost kind of like writing a song without lyrics.
All right.
It's like the movie is the lyrics and then
Mhm.
you make the music underneath it, and like sometimes it gets a little constrictive. Um but I don't feel like I used to feel that more. Like there
Mhm.
was a time when I was only do film scoring and it felt like I wasn't really creatively myself anymore.
Mhm.
So I had to write songs and come to Nashville and be like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, now I'm fully creative." But
Mhm.
now I work in the margin of like a pop song doesn't have more than 4 chords,
Mhm.
and there's another restriction. So
Right.
now as I do songwriting and artist development and like film scoring, I feel like I have all the freedom I need, and if it's not in this one, it's in that one,
That's
you know?
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so you work in so many genres of music. Do you have a favorite?
No.
You just like them
I
all.
I I cannot function if I only do one.
Mhm.
I need them all.
So when
Yeah.
you have a playlist, you're listening to music just at home. It's just
It's
it's everything.
everything. Yeah,
I love that.
it
Do you
is.
still listen to music from, like, the Netherlands? Do they have a specific kind of music?
I do work with Dutch artists
Mhm.
a lot, so I do happen to listen to a lot of Dutch music and, um not so much Dutch language music, but
Mhm.
music by Dutch people.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm still pretty integrated, and I set up writing camps for Dutch people here. So I
Cool.
feel like it's really important for me that I come from I'm very proud being Dutch,
Yes.
and I want like I think it's great to combine cultures and bring them here and have Americans go there, and like the songs are different. Whatever comes out is
Mhm.
going to be unique, and I think sometimes the music industry becomes a little like the same,
Mhm.
and then putting like a Dutch or a French or a German person in
Mhm.
there is just that little extra 10% that's like,
Mhm.
whoa, it's unique.
Yes, I
So
love that.
I'm very much like a gung ho about like helping the Dutch people and
I
all that
love that
stuff.
too.
Yeah.
When listening to a new artist, what do you listen for, I guess, first? And then what's your usual, like, first piece of advice to help them shape their identity and their sound?
Well, I I have to be captured by the talent. So if I'm
Okay.
like, ooh, there's something unique that's beautiful,
Mhm.
um, but then everything else if I sign an artist to my record label, it's actually not about the talent at all. It's about their willingness to participate, and because I've learned my lesson. I used to sign artists just based on talent,
Mhm.
but then the biggest part of music to me is collaboration. It's my
Yes.
philosophy. Like if you don't collaborate, you're not going to grow. You're not going to
Mhm.
learn. You're not going to get better. So it's really important for me to work with people who are willing to collaborate. And I
Yes.
didn't understand that there were people who actually are unwilling to do
Right. That
that. So
seems
if you're an artist and you have you're really great, but you want to write everything 100% yourself and you want to say that you produce it yourself and do all the like indie stuff, it's like, that's great, but I can't touch that.
right.
Like, you need
Mhm.
to like, as proud as I am of working with you, you need to feel the same about me.
Mhm.
So I look for somebody who's willing to like take a risk and take a chance. And like if I say like, hey, you should write with this writer, I think he'd be great for you.
Mhm.
I want you to go experiment and
Mhm.
try it and not feel like, ugh, I don't wanna, like
Yeah.
that is the key to success. Like most people hate social media. I
Mhm.
get it. It's like
Mhm.
it's a hard thing to do.
It's a necessary evil.
It's a necessary evil. At the same time, like when there was no social media, people would pack a bunch of CDs and
Right.
burn them overnight and like put them in
Right.
the back of their car and drive around to different towns. Like
Right.
that also took a lot of
You're
work.
right.
So you have to be willing to spend some time because it's a business
Mhm.
for you to create material and like instead of making flyers, you're now making like content,
Mhm.
So show me a willingness to do that. And if you tell me I'm having a really hard time or these pictures aren't coming out okay, I could be like, let me get you a photographer.
Right.
Let me find a student that can like go with you once a week and like
Right.
help you take pictures. I'll help facilitate it,
Mhm.
but you still need to do the work.
Mhm.
So that's my biggest thing. Are you willing to do the work? Then let's do this. And if not, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Every artist or every creative wants to have a team,
Mhm.
right? That's the dream of everybody. If only I had a manager, if only I had a
Mhm.
booking agent, if only I had a team. But they forget that they have to be part of it
Right.
because everybody thinks like I have a team and they'll work for me. Well,
Right.
essentially,
Like
in a
I'm the
way,
talent and you all work
work for
for
me,
me.
but
Right.
that's not, no, we all work for each other.
Mhm.
So if that essence isn't there, because why would the booking agent book you shows and why would the manager run really hard for you if you don't acknowledge their work,
Mhm.
if you don't brainstorm with them and like go back and forth on ideas and like
Mhm.
nobody knows everything.
Right.
And so you have to trust the people in your team
Mhm.
to take the lead on something, and if that trust isn't there and the willingness isn't there, it's always going to fall apart.
Mhm. I wanted to talk about the global aspect of your work. You talked
Mhm.
about how you love, being Dutch and your Dutch heritage and how you bringing the people together and bringing the types of musics together and the genres together. I mean, I understand it. It would create a whole new sound. I mean,
Mhm.
why are we not doing that all the time?
Right.
Like, why are we not pulling from everyone and just creating this like global sound? Why do you think Nashville could be the place to be the global hub for this?
I mean, I think it is becoming the global
Mhm.
hub, and I have to say, I feel like Nashville is looking for fresh input all the time.
Mhm.
And like Belmont College and Vanderbilt and MTSU, they all contribute to this like influx of like, importing culture and like other, everything other.
Mhm.
And so I feel like Nashville's very open to that. They just might not quite know how.
Right.
And that's why I feel like I help. Like there's American artists who ask me like, how do I go to Europe? How can I get a show? Like
Mhm.
how can I meet people and I connect them?
Mhm.
And vice versa for the Dutch people or people from Germany emailing me. So I help facilitate that because the music industry needs it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it's incredibly important. And you have to understand it's a world market.
Right.
Like, K-pop is hugely popular
I
here.
was
We
gonna bring up
we
K-pop.
don't
Yeah.
understand half of what they're saying,
Mhm.
but it feels so good and it
Mhm.
has an emotional reaction. So you have to understand that the music that you're making here, there's all these artists spinning their wheels. And I'm just thinking like, if only you could go to the UK,
Mhm.
then you would kill it there,
Mhm.
but it
Mhm.
feels like an impossible thing to do.
Mhm.
But I always feel like I'm the living image. Like I didn't know anything and I came to America.
Mhm.
If you're an American, you can go there and start a career. It's a world, or even don't go anywhere, stay at home and make your music online and target Germany and Sweden and like all these areas and
Mhm.
like build your following and your fan base overseas. Like sometimes that's the key.
Mhm.
And you're looking so close to what you have right here, mostly the lack of the things you don't have, that you forget the things you could have,
Mhm.
you know?
And the willingness of those people to work
Yeah.
with you and to help you
Yeah.
and to be just excited as you are to work, with you.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was gonna bring up K-pop and how it's like really hit right now. Have you seen K-pop Demon Hunters? You have a
Yes.
child. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
does he
mean,
watch
pop,
it?
pop, pop. He doesn't watch it. We listen to all the
Oh my
songs.
gosh. I
Yeah.
mean, Golden just won an Oscar?
Yeah, it's
S
crazy. It's so
and I
successful.
love it too, and now I find myself listening to the music without my kids in the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
And it's so cool, and even, like, other artists, what it's like Rosie, I don't know, just other, like, Asian influence
Mhm.
artists have come on, and they're so dope, and their
So,
music
yeah.
is, like, so cool, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Me
I'm
too.
like a big I'm a
Me
big
too.
K-pop, like,
Yeah.
fan. Okay.
Motherhood?
Motherhood section.
Yay.
Okay, so we already said you have a 4-year-old going on
Mhm.
5. So this was obviously 4 or 5 years ago. What were you doing at that time?
Well, it was COVID.
Oh.
And we just got married that year before, 2019.
Mhm,
And then COVID happened and we just were all remote.
mhm,
So my husband's a mix engineer. He was working from home. I was producing from home and was not expecting to just get pregnant so
mhm.
fast. But I was like, well, what else are we going to do? Like, we're stuck at
Right,
home,
like,
Like,
like, we
um,
can now.
yeah. So got pregnant. And my first thought, and I hate to say this, was total panic,
Yes.
because like I've wanted a kid, but also was not thinking it would happen. I was like, it's going to take years,
Right.
whatever, like months. You heard all these stories from
Yes.
people. And then when it happens, I was like, oh, my career.
Right.
I hate to say that,
No,
but
don't.
I literally thought
I
that.
think everyone thinks that.
It took a minute for me to see the joy in it. Like after that thought of like, how am I going to do this? Like I'm self-employed. I'm a freelancer. Like
Mhm,
I'm with a publisher, but like, how's that? What's happening,
mhm,
But as I grew bigger
mhm,
and like just totally embraced it and
mhm,
then realized like what an amazing gift it was,
mhm.
it just became part of my makeup. And I was so, so happy I mean, he like changed my life.
Absolutely.
It's like the best gift in the world. And but I do have to say, because we were remote and on Zoom, like I had my baby, and a month later I was already Zooming and working with
Mm.
him in the like swinging
Mhm,
thing,
mhm.
and I was already on Zoom. And also, because I was so worried about my career, I told very few people, because
Okay.
you can see it, right? Like on Zoom, like you're
Right.
just a screen. So nobody knew.
Mhm.
So that was hard because it felt very isolating and,
And
you
also
know,
it's sad because it is a true thing, like, because if someone hears that you're pregnant or that they could in fact think, "Oh, well, she's not gonna be available, or she's
mhm,
not gonna work as hard, or she's
yeah,
gonna be," which is totally not true. Like, we're super
superhumans.
humans that make
Yeah.
humans. But I agree with you. When you're first pregnant, it's hard to connect.
Yeah.
You don't have the belly. You don't know what's going on. You can't feel the kicks.
Hmm.
But as you grow bigger and
Yeah.
it becomes more real, and you start, picking out the names
Yeah.
and all that.
It's amazing. And but I do have to say that first there's the inner
Mm,
acceptance, right?
mm,
It's like, okay, I'm accepting that this is it, like I'm loving this and I'm embracing this. But then the world has to accept it.
right.
And that was the hard part.
Hmm.
Like, because suddenly I was no longer asked to go on writing trips, and like
Mm,
people wouldn't hire me to be the producer because they were like, well, it's too close to your due date, or like
mm,
it's like you just had a kid, you can't possibly do this. And
mm-hmm,
so I realized that people started making decisions for me
mm-hmm,
instead of allowing me to like make these decisions. And the other thing that happened is like, and it also happened when I got married. Like I got married and suddenly people were like, well, prove to me that you still want to do this,
mm.
Like you got married, you're probably, and people would say like, you're probably just going to go sit at home and like become a housewife or
Like, and is it
something.
mostly males who would say
Well,
this?
not really.
Really, the
Also women.
women?
Yeah. And then when I had a kid, it was like, well, prove to me now that you still want to do this, because this is going to be hard. Like prove it to me. So I had to work harder,
Mm-hmm,
and me having such a like work spirit,
mm-hmm,
like it was hard for me. Like, do I have to work harder than I've ever done before
mm-hmm,
while I have a kid?
mm-hmm.
Like that was kind of a hard awakening.
How was your husband's support?
It was great. And
But he was also busy.
he's a touring
Okay.
sound engineer. And so in while during COVID, he wasn't working and we were both home. Once we had the baby, he went back on the road.
Oh,
So it was me by myself
oh goodness.
with a kid
No family
and
here.
no family, just trying to figure out like, how am I doing this?
Yes.
And so it was it was different.
It's hard.
Yeah, it was very hard. And um yeah, you just work through it. And then there's the postpartum, and then
Mhm.
there's like, for me it was anxiety. Like I had a lot of
Mhm.
anxiety driving
Mhm.
with my kid in the car, and all that stuff. It was a lot.
Mhm.
My biggest disappointment was the that it was mostly the women that it came from, all these things.
Interesting. The women who did not have children?
Yes, because they're younger, and looking
Mhm.
at me was kind of like, oh shit, I don't want that. Like it sounds terrible, but it really felt like that. I had like this, like worked with a lot of young female artists, and I was in this like sort of little group of things, and it
Mhm.
all fell away.
Mhm.
Um, because it feels uncomfortable. And I
Mhm.
remember when I came to Nashville for the first time, my first publisher had said, "Would you like for me to pay for your birth control? Because if you don't do birth control and you get pregnant, your career is over." And that was how my career started here in Nashville. And so I fully understand that all these young women are like, like,
That blows my mind.
yeah. And because it was ingrained in me.
Mhm.
And so I understand that if you're like a young artist and like your producer gets pregnant or whatever it is, like you're like, oh, like, God, our career is over.
But, like, isn't
Like,
it should be up to us, like, right? Like, we need like, I don't know how and it's gonna take a long time,
Mm,
but to destigmatize that and to not make it look like a disadvantage, but rather an advantage because
mhm,
little do they know you're gaining all this perspective, you're gaining all this new love, you're gaining all this new creative talent in your brain from becoming a mother because your bodily your body physically changes, but your brain changes and you're
mhm.
open to so much more emotion and it should be looked at as a gift
Oh,
and
yeah. Like, here's the thing, like, and this goes for everything. It's like you sometimes you have to get rid of everything to gain.
Mhm,
And I feel like that's what happens in all stages of life. Like
mhm,
you move somewhere else, you go to a different suburb, you have kids, you get married. Like there's these phases in life where you shed
mhm,
and you collect.
mhm,
And so that was my having a kid was like I lost a bunch of friends, but then I gained a bunch of friends.
mhm.
And they're much stronger, those friendships, because we're all in the same place now. We're all
Right.
moms, or we're all people with kids, or
Mhm,
we're all managing this thing. And so I am not bitter about, like, I understand this is how it works. It's the same
mhm.
thing as like, when you're married and you want to sit at home on the couch with your husband and all your friends are out on the
Right,
bar.
right.
That's the same thing. And
Mhm.
that's the same thing with pregnancy. And so I fully understand that. I wish it didn't have the aspect of fear attached to it.
Right.
That's the thing, um, that I just hate for us,
Mm,
for all those like 20-year-old women that are like, "Oh God, I can't. If ever I get pregnant, my career is going to be over."
mhm.
That thought is going to turn into a tree that you don't want to grow. Like
Right.
that's that's going to be hard to overcome.
Yes.
And then you have women that are 35 and like, I wish I had kids, and now I have to like struggle. And the amount of times I hear that from women, it breaks my heart when they're like, I've waited so long
Mhm.
to build this career and now I want to have kids. And
It's hard
it's
or
hard.
it's harder.
I had kids later in life and it was hard.
Mhm,
Like I wish I had them earlier because the things it does to your body, that's like
mhm.
intense.
How old were you when you had
At 38.
okay. See, so I'm 40 and I have a 7 and 9-year-old. We could do the math there.
Hmm.
But, like, if in my opinion, if I meet a new partner, I'm still open to having, like, another
Good.
child, yeah,
Yeah.
which is kinda crazy. But I think it's just because in my friend group, my oldest friend is 43 and she had a baby at 43. And I'm seeing what it looks like. It's doable,
Hmm.
like because I just love kids, and you wanna have a kid with a
Hmm.
person, like, if I do get remarried, like, I'd wanna share a child with that
Yeah,
person
totally
too,
understand.
so
Yeah.
but it's not gonna be easy.
No.
It's not gonna be pretty
No.
being 43 and a kid.
No, no, it's not. It's a challenge. It really is. But
Sacrifice
I'm
it.
so happy that it
Yes,
happened.
yes. Oh, that was such great insight, I loved
Yeah.
all of that. Did you ever get a creative block during pregnancy or postpartum?
No, I didn't get I felt like I was uber creative while I
Ooh,
was
I like that.
pregnant and while I was, the whole time. The only thing I did have a hard time with in the beginning was relating to like younger artists because you're carrying
Mm,
this whole like
mhm,
suddenly life is so huge and so meaningful and big. And then somebody's like, I want to write a song because I broke up with my boyfriend after
mm.
2 months. And you're like, oh,
I
like I don't
know.
like, it's like I have to climb back in this other brain.
Mhm,
And now, like, don't worry, I can write those songs all day. It's okay. But for a minute, you're so absorbed in this like giving life and keeping life alive, and that those things just seem kind of like, I don't get it anymore.
mhm, petty,
Um,
like, just
yeah, what are we talking about? And
yeah,
also at the same time, like coming back to like losing a bunch of younger friends, it's also on me because I couldn't understand them anymore.
Right.
And the same thing with the songwriting is so if I don't understand how I should write this song about this little thing while my life is going through all these turmoils and things, it's on all our sides, to like be understanding.
It's difficult to navigate. Very
It
difficult to
is.
navigate.
Yeah.
But it's something that, you know, if we can build a community together
Mhm.
to be able to talk about it to each other, it's so therapeutic to be able to, like, you and I having this conversation, like,
Mhm.
therapeutic. Like the other moms that I interview, same thing, the disconnects that
Yeah.
happen, having your baby in the swing while you're working, the
Mhm.
managing the time, the mom guilt. It feels like I should be interacting with my kid, but I have this due date. I
Yeah.
should
Oh,
like
that's the worst.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we all go through it, and,
Mhm.
if we didn't have those thoughts, we wouldn't be great moms.
Right. Yes.
That's what essentially makes us like, bad moms don't have mom guilt,
True,
I think.
true. That's true. Oh, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, yes. Do you think your son already has an ear for music?
I think so. Like I have a studio downstairs with a drum kit.
Mhm,
First thing he does is he wants to play on the drum kit and
mhm.
then he wants me to play the piano. And he actually keeps time, which
That's
is
cool.
very cool. So if he wants, he can play the drums. But the thing I love about him, he loves numbers and
Ooh.
letters. And so he's like starting to he's like 1 + 1 + 1 is 3, and like just sitting at the dinner
Yeah,
table,
you're like, "No one's taught you that yet," or,
yeah,
it's
and
like
I'm so like I'm like, wow, like as much as I loved music at that
Mhm.
age and started like having that thing, the bubble, he's having it with numbers and letters, and I cannot wait to see what that's going to turn out to be.
I
So
know.
if he wants to come downstairs and play the drums, and if ever he'll be like, I want to learn how to do this, and can we get a teacher? I will totally do it. But until then, I'm just going to let him sort of like
As it should be.
see what he
As
loves,
it should
you
be.
know?
That's awesome. Okay, hot seat segment. Writing on the piano or writing on the
Guitar,
Okay, great. Film scoring or producing artists?
both.
Perfect. Nashville or Los Angeles music scene?
Nashville.
Working with new artists or established artists?
Wow. Both?
Artists you'd love to produce. That's like widely known.
Oh, I mean, Taylor Swift.
Yes.
It would be so cool. I would like it. That would be amazing. I was trying to think of anybody else, but nothing's popping in my mind.
No, Taylor Swift is a great one. A song you wish you wrote.
Girl Crush.
Ooh. Who sings that?
Little Big Town, but it was written by
Oh.
Liz Rose, who was my old publisher.
Oh, awesome.
So I've heard that song. My husband works for Little Big Town, so it's like I've heard that song so many times.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love it. A song you have on repeat on your playlist right now.
Well, honestly, we're listening to Despicable Me soundtrack every single day because of my son, so it's Despicable Me.
Actually, I loved that soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack. Pharrell, I mean,
Yes.
he nailed it.
Yes.
He's so good.
Do you love Pharrell? Do you feel like he's super talented?
If I could be another producer, I want to be Pharrell.
A place in Nashville that inspires you.
I love the Bluebird, and it's
Iconic.
I've played there so many times, and every time I'm there, I'm like, wow, it's just so magical.
And it's like a piece of history.
So tiny and like big at the same time, you know?
I do know. One word that describes motherhood.
Love.
Yes, good job. That was your hot seat segment.
Thank you.
Okay. This is a little song we're writing right now for all the moms out there struggling but need a little laugh.
Legos on the floor.
Always someone knocking at my door.
Socks under the table.
So many books, so many fables.
Books everywhere.
Socks everywhere.
But I love the mess
of motherhood.
Oh, it's cool. The mess of motherhood?
Yes, baby. Okay, we'll take one more.
Motherhood is better than it should. What?
Like
the mess of motherhood. Wouldn't change it if I could.
Alright, you start with the first.
Soccer ball on the grass.
These moments, I would never let them pass.
They will grow older.
But right now I can keep looking at their little school folders.
The mess of motherhood. Wouldn't change it if I could. The mess of motherhood. I wouldn't change it if I could.
Right. Last one. You start.
Oh yeah, okay. One day I'll know that I'll leave the house.
The house will be as quiet as, I was gonna say a mouse, but our mouses aren't quiet mice.
The mouse.
Wait, do it again. Quiet as a house.
One day I'll leave the house.
No more socks, no more Legos. What a loss.
Wouldn't change it if I could.
No, ma'am.
The mess of motherhood. I wouldn't change it if I could.
And there you have it, The Mess of Motherhood, coming out coming out June 2026. No, I'm kidding. All right, besties, my glass is empty, but my cup is full, and that means it's the end of the episode. Remember that you can't have butterfly conversations with caterpillar people, and that everyone out there is trying their best. Love you. Bye. You can find the Mommy Artist podcast on YouTube to watch the full video. Give it a like, hit subscribe, and come back next week for more iconic chaos and creative magic. But no worries if not.